Welcome back, baseball family. This week we're going to talk about Mike Trout, Blake Snell, and this month's emoji tiers right now. 9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Welcome back, baseball family, to another episode of the Baseball Together podcast. I'm Brig. I'm in a really good mood, and I got Mr. Brad here with me. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing well. I can see that you're in a very good mood, Brig.
Baseball family,
Yeah.
This is our third recording of the day, and
It
they've
is indeed.
all, till now, gone well. This one will also go well. So,
I hope
2 in a
so.
row, we call that a streak here. Here, my side of the screen.
On that side of the screen, it is a streak. On this side of the screen, the correct side of the screen, it is called 2 in a row.
I only do that to bug you, which is
I know
the
you
best
do.
reason
It
to do a
works
lot of things,
every
right?
Every time. Yeah, it is.
Baseball family, we're excited that you're here to join us. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, we've got the lineup of topics on our left. We're doing this new overlay thing. We think it's pretty cool. We like what we got going on. If you like what we got going on, there are a bunch of ways to support the show. First and foremost, if you are on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, ring that bell for us. You don't want to miss anything. We got stuff dropping all day, every day, just about. Not all day, but every day. We got stuff coming out every day, and sometimes all day. We do that. Anyway, the point is, we want you here for all of it. We want to give you the best baseball content, fan first, family friendly. That's what we do here. But if you're looking for other ways to support the show, we've got partnerships all the way around. Right now, I want to tell you about Sups.com. Sups.com is your one-stop shop for supplements, fitness-related and health-related supplements. As you can see, they've got the Alpha Lion line down there on the overlay, but you can also get products by Animal. This is my Animal pack that I use every day, and I love it to pieces. You don't have to take the massive pills anymore. Now you can just take powdered form, which is really cool, and it tastes good. Not great because it's healthy, but it tastes good. Okay. And then my favorite supplement company is Bucked Up, and you can get this on, let's see, where's Center? You can get this on Sups as well. This is their Rocket Pop flavor. If I can get these lined up, we've got their pre-workout and their branch chain amino acids. They're some of my favorites. So certainly they are the leaders in flavor profiles when it comes to fitness and workout supplements. You have got to check out Bucked Up if you don't know about them already. And if you're going to be buying it anyway, you might as well do it with Sups.com and support the show. The best way to support us and get your supplements is in the link in the description. So check them out after you hit the subscribe button. All right, Brad. First things first. Mike Trout is, once again, no longer going to be playing baseball on the heels of the Angels no longer really needing to play baseball.
Right. Yeah. This is 4 years in a row that he's not playing in
Yeah.
September, I think.
Yep. That's what
So
it feels like. And it feels
Yeah,
like
and-
every time the Angels are basically or mathematically knocked out of any sort of contention conversation, he gets hurt.
I don't think there's a connection there. I think it is purely coincidental. I think it is just, and I think it's just the guy's body breaking down, right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that it's always something else, right? It was a
Yeah, it
hamate,
is always new.
back, knee, right? So, but this was my big concern though, this year, was that they said it was a meniscus. It's like, and I said the same thing with JT Realmuto. He's come back and he's been fine so far. Right. But Mike Trout, I was worried about this knee, and he went into his rehab start and didn't make it all the way through.
No,
So
he didn't, and it's too bad. It's really too bad because here we have a perennial, excellent player,
all-star.
right? He's a perennial all-star at least, but I think there's got to be a new term for a guy like this. He's a once-in-a-lifetime talent for sure.
Yeah.
And he's been stuck in the basement of this underperforming franchise almost his entire career. And I don't know, man. I just wish it was different. I think that's my biggest. I think that's my position right now. I wish it were different. I wish Mike Trout was not at the tail end of his career, because that seems inevitably where we are. And I don't want it to be, but I think we have to start acknowledging that things are on the downhill. We got a short rope.
So he's got like 7 more years on his deal. But
Yeah.
it seems each year it seems harder and harder for him to play out the remainder of that contract. It also seems even harder and harder every single year for the Angels to be able to move it, which is what everybody wants, right? Everybody
Yeah.
wants the Angels to move Mike Trout, send him to contender, so he can get more than 15 career plate appearances in the postseason. Not at
In the
bats, plate
postseason.
appearances,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But this is the crazy thing. So in 2012, as a rookie, he won Rookie of the Year, obviously.
Right.
He
For
was
sure.
runner-up in MVP. 2013, runner-up in the MVP. He won it in 2014, runner-up again in 15, won it in 16, finished fourth in 17, runner-up in 18, won it in 19. And then even in 2020, the shortened season, he finished fifth.
Yeah. Okay, but things haven't been the
Like,
same since that COVID season. They just haven't been.
no, and he got to play 119 games in 2022. And he played 82 last year was all.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been able to stay healthy since that COVID season. And I don't think the shortened season really had anything to do with it. I
No, it's
think it
just an
has to do with the
easy
fact
line in
that
the sand.
I am a staunch believer that our bodies have a 30-year warranty on them.
Yeah,
You hit
you say
30
that
and
a
it
lot.
starts falling apart. He turned 30 on, let's see here. What's his birthday? August 7th, 19 or he was born in 1991. August 7th, 2021 was when he turned 30.
Hmm.
I don't think there's a coincidence that he started falling apart after that. Started breaking
Yeah,
down.
if you're looking for a line, this is a pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah, age 30.
I know.
So,
Welcome to the party,
and
pal.
seriously though, that's what I tell everybody when they turn 30. Hey, good luck now. Your body's gonna start falling apart. But this is the thing though, is that like I've heard some people like, well, he needed to put together like a little bit more longevity to be a Hall of Famer. It's like, no, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yeah,
First ballot,
that's
easy.
not a question.
It's like
Nope.
I don't hear from anybody, and I know it's a very small collective, and maybe it's just people trying to ruffle feathers. They've ruffled
Maybe.
mine, and Mike Trout
Yes.
has been playing for a division rival his entire career. So
Yeah, yes. Oh man. I just think it's sad, and I hate to be preemptively grieving, but I don't know another way to look at it. I cannot sit here and justify feeling excited about his future performances the way I used to. I don't know how you feel, but
yeah, because this is the thing is that like this year he was before he got hurt the first time, right? He was headed
yeah,
towards an MVP season. He's hitting home runs, he's stealing bases. It's like, dude, he was gonna be 40-40 and gonna be a lock for the MVP,
right.
right? But then he gets hurt, and so it's like he comes back next year. Is he going to be able to steal bases? Is he going to be able to play defense? Are they going to have to move him to full time DH? Is he going to be like Albert Pujols was for the majority of his years in Anaheim, where he was hitting singles off the wall?
Yeah.
Right. I feel like those are the questions that we're going to have to wait to see next year, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to like the answers that we get to them.
I don't think so either, and that's I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to watch this happen. I know it happens to everybody, but I think the level of expectation,
Not like this though,
I
right?
know, it just feels
Like
so
he's
anticlimactic.
still in his prime.
I know. It's I don't want to look back on baseball and think of Mike Trout and feel sad, right? Like it doesn't
Right.
I don't want that. I don't want it
You
to
don't
be a
want it to be the
tragic story,
well, we don't want it to be the with anybody. We don't want it to be like, man, what could have been? Because like
right?
Griffey was like he had injuries about the same point in his career because
Yeah.
you just as you get older, you just can't quite play the same way. Even though this is
Yeah.
the only way these guys know how to play, which I get,
Right.
right? So
I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's a bummer though. It really is.
Speaking of bummers, Max Scherzer is dealing with a nagging shoulder issue that might be another signal. What would you
It
say to
might-
that? I mean, we've been calling for it. I'm surprised he made the comeback that he was able to make at all. Um, and now
right,
I feel like we're right back to it.
right. So he's got 8 starts this season and already has shoulder fatigue.
Yeah.
He's 40. He just turned 40 9 days
Yeah.
ago, July
Oh
27th.
wow. Happy birthday, Mad
So
Max.
ugh,
That one makes
it,
sense.
it does make sense. And it's normal wear and tear on your body and normal breakdown, right?
Yep.
Because over 2,800 innings in his career.
I
That's a
was just
lot.
gonna look for that number. I was just gonna look for that
That's
number. Yep.
regular season innings too, Brig.
Yep. Right. It doesn't
Because you
count
get into the
postseason.
postseason, right? You get into the postseason, he's throwing another 143. So I think it's
It's
safe to
creeping
put
up on
him.
3,000.
I was going to say, I think it's safe to put him up over 3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, it's close.
Yeah. He's up over 3,000 innings pitched in
That's a
his career.
lot. That's a lot.
It makes me
And
wonder how
he's
many
40.
Nolan Ryans are.
Yeah. Like 5,700 or something like that. It's nuts. It's a crazy number.
50, almost 5,400 in the regular season.
There it is. Yep.
It's so many.
Yep.
But Nolan Ryan was a freak. He was an
Yeah, he was
aberration.
yeah.
Nobody was built
Yeah.
like Nolan Ryan.
No.
So
Honestly, it'll be interesting. I think he's done or close, and I
so.
think if he's not done, it's time to figure out how to use him differently, when to use him, how to be strategic or whatever. But the problem is that the Rangers are not in a good spot right now.
No, they
So
need him.
it's not going to matter, and if they don't have him, it really isn't going to matter.
Right. So think about this, Brig. John
I
Smoltz
shall. Yeah.
was a starter until he was injured in 2000. He had Tommy John, came back,
Yep.
and was out of the bullpen, was a closer. And he did get back into a starting role after that in 2005, but he spent the next 4 years as a closer.
Yep.
Do you think Mad Max could make that transition, or do you think he's wired
I do.
specifically to be
Nah.
a starter?
I don't think so. I think he probably knows his body well enough. He's probably got all his stuff worked out mentally. I'll bet if that is what he needs to extend his career, he will make the change immediately if they'll let him. The question will be, will the Rangers let him? And if not the Rangers, who? Because how many?
I'd take him as a closer.
Right? Is this the end of his contract with the Rangers? I thought, wasn't it a 1-year deal or a 1-year extension?
He is going to be
So
a
I'm just
free
saying,
agent.
because he is.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
He signed through this season. Yeah, because he
so
the last year of a 3-year deal that he signed with the Mets, and then the Mets traded him last year. So
right,
yeah, he'll be a free agent. So maybe he hits the market as a closer.
He could.
Dude, I'd take him, dude, for real.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I would
eat up
move
3 or 4 innings.
I would move my. You don't even need him to eat up three or four innings.
Or not innings. I'm sorry. 3 or 4 outs.
Yeah.
I meant outs. Sure. I'm sorry. Think of him and I think of innings, not outs.
Closer to the 8th inning as a setup man for sure. If I've got Scherzer closing it out, he's got a screw loose as it is anyway.
That's what I was gonna say. He's got a screw loose.
He's got the mentality.
He's wired for it. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. And those high leverage situations that closers get into might be absolutely perfect for him to also preserve his arm and squeak out some additional years.
The only thing is I worry about his competitive side and like the pride side of being a starter, right? Yeah. Like, no, I'm a starting pitcher. Because there's the whole thing. I mean, we saw it in Major League, but I feel like that's real, where Ricky Vaughn was so upset about getting sent to the bullpen, right? I think that's like a real thing with pitchers. Yeah. But I think if you were to be like, no, we need you, and this is how we're going to get you another 2 years in your career as a closer, this is your role. Dude.
Yeah, I agree. Well, he's been in the league since 2008. That's a lot.
It's a long time.
That's a lot for a pitcher.
Yeah.
Anyway, baseball family, what do you think? Is Mad Max done, or Do you move him to the bullpen? Do you give him a closing role? Would he accept a middle relief spot if needed, if there's absolutely
Ooh,
nowhere
I
else
don't
to
think
go?
he would. I don't think he'd
I
do
don't
middle
think
relief.
so. I don't think so
I
either.
think he would rather retire than be a middle reliever.
I think so too.
Honestly,
Unless he was on a contender and it was stacked and they were
Mm,
like, "Come on, man.
it's
Just
all.
come in and win the ship."
Yeah, I think if he were to go to Philly, that maybe that would
Yeah.
be the one he'd be willing to take.
Or Baltimore maybe.
I don't know.
Of
I
course
think even in Baltimore, he'd be like,
he'd
"No,
be
I'm better
the
than
closer.
Kimbrel."
Yeah. Yeah. So I think he'd be the closer in Baltimore. And I think he is better than Kimbrel. Even in a closer situation that he's never experienced before, not at this level, he's still better than Craig Kimbrel. I believe
Yep,
that.
I agree. Especially right now.
All right. Let's talk about Ben Joyce, because Ben Joyce threw a fastball that was 104.7 miles per hour. And JD Martinez is the victim of this strikeout. Before we get there,
What's a victim?
uh, Ben Joyce Ben Joyce faced four batters over 1 1/3 innings pitched. He retired all four batters in a row. It was his first big league save, obviously. The final pitch, 104.7 to JD Martinez, past JD Martinez. And according to ESPN Stats and Information, this is the hardest pitch thrown to strike out a batter in the pitch tracking era. That dates back to 2008. And wasn't it who JD Martinez said he's never heard a pitch that fast? Is that what he
Yeah.
said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
not seeing it because I don't think you can see it, but yeah, definitely heard
No way.
because I'm sure you could hear that one.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's
What
the
do you
first
think?
opportunity they've given him to save
Yeah.
because he's got
Has
33 appearances over this year and last year. Last year he was a
really?
little wild. This year he's really dialed it in.
Hmm.
So is
I
the
didn't know
thing I
about
saw.
last year.
Yeah, he had like an ERA over 5 last year, so he was a little wild. So my wife's cousin is a big Angels fan. I was talking to her about
Hmm.
this because I saw Joyce come out and pitch to the Mariners. And the thing, so not only does he throw gas, he changes speed really well too. Like he's got
Really?
some off speed, some breaking stuff that's like pretty filthy. And so watching him pitch to the Mariners, like he made him look foolish because he'd throw 103, 104 to him, and then he would come back with like a 92-mile-an-hour cutter or splitter or whatever, slider, whatever it is that he throws. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't know how you face that in the batter's box because you're like, okay, if I'm going to be getting gas, I got to sell out, right? I've got to be dialed in and sell out on that. So then he throws 91 at you and you're like screwed into the ground.
Yeah, and way ahead
What do
of
you
it.
do? And I even texted her while
Way.
I was like, why is Joyce not the closer? She's like, well,
Right.
he's been a little while. I was like, well, he wasn't a little while tonight. He was absolutely filthy and unhittable. So it's
Hmm.
crazy. I think honestly, I feel like the only way he doesn't maintain this role is if either A, he starts tipping his pitches, or B, he gets wild again because the dude's just filthy. He's so good.
Or, or a third is that he continues to play for the Angels, and they mismanage him,
Always a
which we know they're
possibility.
capable of.
Right. And also, I think the other thing too is that because there are not closer opportunities, he never gets to play.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Try to
That's a
figure out
great
some other
point.
time to get him in there, but then you're like, but we want him tomorrow just in case. So
Baseball family, if you've enjoyed our Friday episodes of Ball Talk, you're going to want to stay tuned for this Friday where we talk pitching, we talk this specific instance, and we talk all kinds of other fun stuff with John Pawlowski, another member of the IMG Academy coaching staff. Um, Pitched in the bigs, terrific college coach. I mean, unbelievable in his winning record. And so stay tuned for Friday. That's all I'll say. Blake Snell threw a no-hitter. And that's all you need to know. Just kidding. Not only did he throw a no-no, which is super exciting, let's be honest. It's an incredible feat, and we're very excited for him, but it was his first win as a Giants pitcher. He finally seemed to have figured some things out, which took way too long, but he missed camp, so it's fine. Plus, the
well, then he was
Giants
out
are
with an
not.
injury for a while.
Yeah, and the Giants are not in the conversation, so they were able to make it slow. His comeback has been deliberate. I think everything's fine. He faced 29 batters, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks is all. 3 walks. Can you imagine being
which is crazy because
three?
that's like one thing he's known for.
I
It's
know. It's
walking
only
guys.
3. This is the 18th no-hitter in franchise history for the Giants. The White Sox have 19, and the Dodgers have 22. That puts them in third place for franchise no-nos all time. So the question is he back? Is this back on
Um,
track for Blake Snell?
I want to say yes. I think so. So here's something interesting, Brig. So you look at his career numbers, and this season, his strikeouts per nine, he's up to 11.4
Hmm.
strikeouts per nine. Last year, he was 11.7. The year before that, he was 12.0. He's been up over 11 every single year since 2018.
Whoa.
So that's pretty good. And he is
That's
the
pretty good.
all-time leader. He's the all-time leader in strikeouts per nine as well.
All time.
11.1. All time. Part of that though is I feel like his average innings per outing, right? Because it's what we talk about all the time. We talked about it with Mike Steele. We talked about it with other guys who have come on the show. That now the approach of starters is go out there and give it all you've got for 5-6 innings, right?
Yeah,
So
5,
Blake
6. Yeah.
Snell going out there and giving it all he's got for 5 or 6 innings is more than what I would say a lot of pitchers were able to put out over the course of 8 to 9 innings in the 90s, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
go out, go pace yourself, pitch, right? Whereas now it's
yeah.
like, no, just go unload it, right?
Just get
So
your
I feel like,
bazooka.
yeah, I feel like that's some of the difference that we're seeing. But
Hmm.
the fact that he's leading with guys with like strikeout pitchers, like he's leading Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer,
Right.
right? Luis Castillo is a big strikeout guy. Like
Yeah.
he's leading all of those guys all time. Even
Right.
Nolan Ryan was down below 10 for his career,
Yeah. Well, the guy pitched every
despite everything.
inning.
Right. And that's what I'm
That's
saying too,
that's
is
your
that
point. Yeah.
innings per outing. So
Hmm.
he's a little more condensed. And so he's got, I mean, if he has 2 outings where he goes 4 and he goes 5 and he strikes out 11 guys between those two, then that puts it right there. So
Yeah.
anyway,
That's pretty
it's a
good
really
though.
interesting number. It is really good, and I think some of it might be a little piece of it, tiny little piece of it. I think
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
be effectively wild because he does walk guys. Last year he led the league with 99, um, and so it's almost like if it's borderline, maybe it's a ball. Oh no, that was a strike, right?
Yeah. Oh crap. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but no, I think it's good for him. It's a bummer that it has taken him into August to get his first win and get like where it feels like things are really right. But he's only pitched in 11 games this season.
Right. And I hate to say it, but it's the Giants, man. And at this point, it's just hard to feel like it matters for the Giants.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
I
a
don't know that
personal
he'll be.
promotion segment of the season.
Do you think he'll be back next year? I don't think so.
You mean in a Giants uniform? No.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He'll, yeah, no. I don't think so either. I
Yeah.
mean, they
Because
would
he's got
have
a
to
player
hand him a
option.
bag. They'd have to hand him a bag, and they would have to show a tremendous amount of bolstering. I'd need information about the minor leagues. I'd need information about replacements. I don't know, man. It would, they, yeah, it would have to look really. I'm gonna look something up.
The
You talk.
bolstering, I think, would be the big thing because he's got that player option for next year, which is 30 million. That's a lot of money, but it's only
Yeah,
for 1 year. So it's another year
yeah,
where he has a chance to like he'll be 32 next year, and so it's another chance for him to kind of like step back if that's what happens. Whereas now he can be like he can finish the season strong. I threw no in August, went through da 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 da. However, the season ends, he can go to the market and get more, I think, and maybe get a 5-year deal out of it. So he's 36, 37 when his contract expires.
that's not bad.
Yep.
That's not bad. I'm looking just for the sake of looking, and um, according to Bleacher Report, the Giants have the 19th ranked farm system. Yeah.
Well,
They have 3 guys at the beginning of this season. They had 3 guys considered tier 1, 3 at tier 2, and 4 at tier 3 is what they're saying.
it's because they
So
build through free agency. Everybody they brought in significant was a free agent.
that's how they did this
So
season. Yeah, for sure.
so yeah, I don't know that that'll continue to work, but that's the way they've been doing things.
We'll see. Let's talk some on pace really quick because there's something really interesting happening that I don't know how many people are talking about, but I want to talk about it. The first one's just fun, okay? Ellie De La Cruz leads the league in strikeouts, but he also leads the league in stolen bases.
Does he really? I didn't know he led the league in strikeouts.
He does. And he's on pace to continue doing so. But he has 57 stolen bases at this moment. And that puts him on pace for 83 stolen bases this season, Brad.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot of stolen bases. Holy
Curious
crap.
how many home runs he has, because
It's
he's
only
not going to like
14 or something. It's not that many.
Well, I was gonna say he's not gonna like go Acuna and set a new record. He's got 18 homers, but still, he
Okay.
could potentially be the first member. Would he be the first member of the 80-20 club?
Yeah. You know they'll call it that.
Oh, of course they will.
Yeah.
Of course they will, because it's marketing.
Listen,
Brig.
80's amazing. 80's amazing, right? What's the single season?
He
stolen
would
base?
not be the first member of the 80-20 club, because Ricky Henderson did 80-20. I see 1, 2. He did 80-20 twice.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
he's got Ricky Henderson 130 stolen bases in 1982 is the record.
that's so many.
That we're looking at 83, like shaking in our boots at 83, and Ricky did 130.
Ricky had 80 at the break.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Oh, man. Okay. Well, here's the one I really wanted to talk about. Okay. Let's talk about Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is on pace. He's with 41 home runs right now. That's league. I always say lead leaguing. I don't know why. 41 league leading home runs. That puts him on pace for 59. He has 103 RBIs currently. That puts him on pace for 148 and is currently batting 322. Now, those stats, for those of you who are paying close attention, accumulate to the Triple Crown. And I want to know, Brad, do you think that Aaron Judge has a chance at the Triple Crown this year?
Ooh, let me look at the batting average race right now, because I know Bobby Witt Jr. is up there, because all that guy does is get on base.
That's
Right?
all he does. Yep.
So, and he's at 344. No, Judge has no shot.
Okay.
He's not catching. Bobby Witt Jr. would have to go hitless in the month of September, it feels like,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
order for Judge to catch him. Not going to
Yeah.
happen.
I think
He's going to win the home run crown. But this is the thing. Like, I don't think he even gets 59, because I think that teams are going to start taking the Toronto Blue Jays approach and taking Judge out of the lineup offensively. He was intentionally walked 4 times this weekend.
Yeah.
1 time with the bases empty and 2 outs. Who does that? And the other time with 3 times in one game.
3 times in one game.
3 times in one game. So, unless Aaron Boone decides to shake up the lineup just a little bit and get some protection behind Judge in the order, whether it's flipping him and Soto or bringing Jazz Chisholm up to bat cleanup, I don't know which one he would prefer to do, or which one he is or is not going to do. But I think that he's got to do that, or Judge is going to continue to be taken out of the game offensively. And teams are going to do that because it's their best shot at winning. Because Judge is not a threat running the bases. I mean, he's 6'7". What 6'7" guy is a threat running the bases besides O'Neal Cruz, right?
Yeah. And Ellie De La Cruz, he's about that size. He's close to
Yeah,
that
he's
tall.
close. He's a little bit smaller, but
Like
at the same time,
6'5",
he
6'6".
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's huge.
At the same time, though, he's also a giant and really, really fast.
Yeah, but he's not carrying as much Let's be honest.
Right.
Um,
Right.
with that 3-walk game, intentionally walked 3 times, Aaron Judge becomes the first Yankee to be intentionally walked 3 times since 1999. Guess who that was?
99. Was Giambi? No, Giambi wasn't on that team yet. I don't know who would have been in 99. Paul
Bernie.
O'Neill? Oh,
Bernie
Bernie.
Williams. Yeah, Bernie Williams. So
I'd have gotten there.
that's an interesting. Yeah, you would have gotten there. Yeah, you would. It probably would have been the next one.
Probably.
Anyway, I think you're right. I don't think he'll catch Bobby Witt Jr. as far as batting average is concerned. I think there's not enough time. But we haven't had a Triple Crown like hardcore discussion since Miggy won it.
There was one. There was a couple
2
years
years
ago.
ago there was a
Triple
different
Crown.
one.
Yeah.
Was it with Jose Ramirez or somebody like that? I can't remember who it was, but
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but they got close. Not as close. I mean, wasn't Judge in the Triple Crown conversation last year even? Because I feel like he always will be for home runs. Like he'll always be up there for home runs, which means that he'll be
which
up there
makes
for
the RBI
RBIs,
one right.
especially if they continue to have guys in front of him who get on base.
Right.
The only thing is going to be average with him. But the thing that's crazy is the dude hits. He has 41 homers and he's hitting 322. He doesn't just hit it out. The fact that he puts the bat on the ball and it goes where it's supposed to is a huge deal in today's baseball game.
Yes, sir.
Because the Yankees would be perfectly happy if he was hitting 41 dingers and batting 250.
Yeah, but that's not how you win ball games, Brad, and Aaron Judge knows that.
Hey, some teams are winning ball games like that. If he's hitting 41 homers and driving in 148 runs and hitting 250, they're so happy with that.
But listen, if you go 6 weeks where all but 2 bats are quiet, are silent,
right,
then you have to have a guy who can do both. And that's what Aaron Judge does. And so does Juan Soto.
No,
that's the only reason Rome didn't burn down to the ground during that 6-week stretch is that we have 2 guys who can drop bombs, but also hit for average and play slapstick a little bit and get it where it needs to be.
You're right. And the thing that I think is the craziest about this whole thing is that he got off to a slow start.
Oh, super slow.
He quote unquote, hit 6 home runs in April, between March and April. And then he turned it on in May, got 14, just scorching hot. I mean, that's a home run every other day.
Yeah,
in May.
Nuts.
11 in June. 8 in July through 24 games.
He's
already got 2 and 3 games in August.
Yeah, in other ways, yeah.
He hit 409 in June, by the way.
Yeah. When we needed him to. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like he adjusted his approach to compensate, which you could justify as part of the captain's role. Super cool. Man, I just love this guy. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Sport. It is irrefutable. All right. Ban the gavel, Brad. I don't have one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome. I should get a gavel. Brad is very excited to talk about this D-backs giveaway, so we're going to yield the floor. Tell me, Brad, why is this awesome?
Okay, so this Saturday, the Diamondbacks are doing a very special giveaway promotion. The first 30,000 fans to Chase Field this game is against the Phillies. Okay, the Phillies are in town. And so the Diamondbacks are giving away NL Champions replica rings to the first 30,000 fans. So you could almost say, Brig, everybody in the stadium will have a National League championship ring except for the Phillies. This is
30,000
troll job. The best troll job giveaway I have heard of in my entire life, because they could have done this any game of the year. And the thing that's funny is I was standing there at Chase Field a few weeks ago, and we were standing there waiting for our kids club stuff with Wilson, and I saw the promo on the wall, and I was like, oh, cool, NL championship replica rings. Didn't click, and then I was like, and then I moved down, I saw another one. I was like, oh, but it's against the Phillies. That's hilarious. I just started busting the gut. I was standing there in line, just started cracking up. Wilson's like, "What's so funny, Dad?" Nothing. I'll tell you later. I don't
I'll
think I
tell
ever
you later.
explained it to him. But
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
so good, so funny. And the only thing I worry about for the Diamondbacks is that this this Phillies roster can carry a chip like a boulder like nobody else. The
Oh
Diamondbacks
yeah.
are going to get blown out.
Yeah, they are
The
gonna get
Phillies are going to have an
demolished.
absolute home run derby, and they're going to be hitting splashdowns into the pool, hitting them off
Yeah.
the batter's eye. They're going to be
Yeah.
crushing balls all game long, and the
Yeah.
D-backs are just going to get absolutely worked. Is what's going to happen in
Well,
this
and
game.
Brother Harper needs it, so this will be a great release valve for him
Well,
because
so
he is playing catch
he
up a little bit.
he is, and he's kind of coming around after like
He
he
is.
had a pretty decent weekend after going. I think he went hitless on
Yeah.
Friday, but he's kind of coming around as of Saturday, Sunday. So I think he'll be warm and ready to go by the time they get to
Yeah.
Phoenix this weekend.
Oh
Oh, so
man,
good.
are you gonna go? That's what I want to know.
No, I'm not gonna be able to make it this weekend. I really
Oh,
wanted
okay,
to
that's too bad.
because I
That's too bad.
actually try to go when the Phillies are in town. I don't always get to, but
Yeah,
so.
that makes sense. All right, let's do today in baseball history. Today in baseball history, August 6, 1985, after a 50-day strike that interrupted the 1981 season, the second players' union strike in 5 years occurred on August 6, 1985. This time, unlike in 1981, the strike was settled the following day, and all 25 games were made up. They were
Amazing.
like, stop! Oh, okay.
I wish
Let's keep going.
it would just work like that, right? Like the
Yeah.
lockout starts December 1st, and then it's like December 2nd. Oh, we're back to work. It's fine.
Yeah,
We're
it's
not missing
fine.
a game.
Everything's fine. Yeah.
That's so funny. Just
Baseball
a
family, we take a quick break real quick. When we come back, we're going to get into our version of power rankings. At Baseball Together, we love repping our teams. Between hats, jerseys, t-shirts, and pretty much anything else you can think of, we get it from Fanatics. You can shop your favorite MLB, NFL, NBA, MLS, hockey teams, and beyond on fanatics.com. Click the link in the description or take a picture of that QR code and support the show. Get your gear for the regular season, the postseason, and the off-season from Fanatics.
Welcome back, baseball family. It is that time of the month. We're going to get into our power rankings that we call emoji tiers because we don't want to go 1 through 30. That's a whole lot of work. So instead, we just bunch them together and do it that way. So
Yeah.
here we go. Let's get into our emoji tiers. We're going to start from the top, go to the bottom like we always do. Briggs suggested starting from the bottom, going to the top. I liked it, but it didn't work because, surprise, I added an extra tier. So we're going to start from
Yeah,
the
right.
top again this month and go
Okay.
down just so that everybody's aware of how this works at this point in the season. We are past the trade deadline. We pretty much know who everybody is. We're kind of how things are going to shake out a little bit at least. And so all the rules go out and you can put any number of teams anywhere you want. It is no longer 38883. It is anarchy. So Brig, start us
Yeah.
off with your diamond tier.
Diamond tier. Might be a hot take. I've got the Orioles. I've got the Yankees. And I've got Cleveland's baseball club.
Okay. So we only have one team in common there. Tell me about that first, though.
Okay. The Yankees slumped hard for over a month. It was bad. But they held on. They were capable with only 2 players. Now they've added Jazz Chisholm Jr. They've fixed some stuff. They've still got rotation issues. We got to fix
Got the
pitching.
vibes.
But the vibes, man. If that's all it took, come on, man. How do you stop this team? Right? And like we said, you got a guy who's like, I'll play at third. What do I care? I'll try it. I could bet I could do that. Now, with a guy like Chisholm and his attitude, his energy, and his capabilities at the plate and in the field, we suddenly have some depth defensively. And we've got a little more pop offensively that we didn't have before. I'm shocked that one guy has made that big a difference. I am literally shook. But because it has, there's no way I can put them below the diamond tier. I can't do it. That's it.
I'm here for that.
Guardians, Cleveland's baseball club, best record in baseball. They're absolutely incredible. Everything's working for them. They beat the Phillies? They split the series with the
Well,
Phillies?
for a spell there, everybody's beating the Phillies, but we'll get there.
Well, yeah, you're right. So they're really good at home. I think their road record is incredible. Because playing on the road is rough. And then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think
And
they're
who
great.
was and who was your third
The
team again?
Orioles. The
The Orioles.
Orioles.
Okay, so we had 2 teams. Really, we had 3 teams. So I went with 4 teams though at the
Oh,
top.
okay. That's fair.
And honestly, like I just moved Cleveland back up there because I wasn't sure
Just
at
now.
first. I had them down lower. Yeah. But this is the thing is like Cleveland's got some issues, right? They've got some starting pitching issues that it seems like they didn't address at the trade deadline that are kind of a question mark, but they continue to win. They continue to find a way to win, and that's what matters, right? Like you can have your faults, even though I'm going to contradict that here in probably like 5 minutes, I think. But that's what I'm going to say right now is like if you continue to win, then you're good. So I have Cleveland's baseball team, the Yankees, the Orioles, and the Phillies. Now,
Yeah.
the Phillies are in a rough patch. I get it, right? Like the Yankees had a
Yeah.
rough patch; they pulled out of it. I feel like
For sure.
the Phillies are going to pull out of this, right?
I
I
agree.
don't know how sustainable it is because they're running their starting pitchers into the ground. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like that trade-off, right? Like, do you run your starting pitchers in the ground, and have a fresh bullpen go into the postseason, or do you pace your starting pitchers and run your bullpen into the ground at the end of the season? I don't know. It's tough. It seems like they've chosen the route where you run your starting pitchers ragged, dealing with a
Yep.
lot of injuries right now, and I think that has something to do with the bullpen has not been good,
Sure.
and while the bullpen has not been good, the offense is slumping.
Big time.
So it's like that's a recipe for disaster.
Brother Harper went 0 for like 23 or
30
24 in a
is like, oh,
row.
I think it was 1 for 34.
1 for
That one.
34, but 0 for
Yeah.
23 or something. It was crazy.
That is uncharacteristic for him, and I think he's pulling out of it. Alec Boehm was like the picture of consistency this weekend against the Mariners. He was the guy who was killing the Mariners all weekend long. But I still don't feel like you can count that team out. They're one of the best teams in baseball, despite their slump. They're fine. They're fine. They're still one of the better teams for now. Obviously, Baltimore. Like, come on now.
Super dumb.
I know that they're like right there with the Yankees. The Yankees are ahead of them, but it's crazy. I think I said this before that it's crazy that the Yankees played as poorly as they did, and they're still where they are. It's like how do you deal with that as the Orioles? It's like we are doing our best.
And it
They
is
are not.
exceptional. Right.
It is.
It's
It's very, very
it is
good.
terrific baseball in Baltimore. But the fact that the Yankees continue to hang on and they've got their teeth just sunk into that first place spot and they will not let go. How do you not put them up in the diamond tier? How?
Right. Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah. So I've got them up there. So those are my 4 teams in the diamond: Baltimore, New York, Philly, and Cleveland.
Yeah. I like it.
Let's head on
like it a
down
lot.
to your heart tier, Brig.
My heart tier includes the Phillies, actually. It also includes a giant heart, big, fat, juicy heart for the Milwaukee Brewers. Big, fat one, like big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did I mention how big that is? This is where I
Huge.
also put the Dodgers, the Padres, the Braves, Seattle's baseball club goes here, the D-backs and the Royals all end up in this heart tier for me.
I think we had the same heart tier.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not, because I have the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Mariners, and I'll talk about the Mariners in a minute. The Twins, the Royals, the Padres, the D-backs, and I know that it's not ranked top to bottom, but if I had a bottom team in the heart tier, it would be the Braves. And the only reason I have them there is because they continue by some miracle to hold on to where they're at, even though like they are slowly falling out of the playoff picture. So for now, I'm going to keep them at the bottom of my heart tier. So my Mariners,
The team we did not agree on is the Twins. They were the one team that was not in my heart tier.
Oh, Twins do a lot. So let's talk about the Twins for just a second. So
Let's
the Twins do a lot of things really, really well. The
Mm-hmm.
problem I have with the Twins is they did not do anything to get better over the deadline. So there are teams that are
Nothing.
going to pass them, but for now, I'm going to keep them in the heart tier because, like I said, when they're healthy, they do a lot of things really well. They have some major injury concerns that they're dealing with right now, and if those guys
They
get
do.
back, then they'll be all right. But for now, I'm going to leave them there. So my Mariners, I was getting ready, Brig, to send them down to the thumbs down tier before the trade deadline.
Yep.
Getting real close to it because things looked really, really ugly, and there was like a little bit of noise about a deal, but at the same time, I was like mentally preparing myself for not being one, and then waiting for the statement to be, "Oh, the right bat for the right price just wasn't on the market." Like, of course not. Sometimes you just have
Well,
to
of course,
go a little bit
Jerry.
above market price, right? Market
Uh-huh.
value. But so
Yeah.
then instead, I was pleasantly surprised. Randy Rosarina. Boom. Trey Turner,
Boom.
or not Trey Turner, that'd be awesome. Justin Turner.
Yeah.
Boom. Love it.
Somehow.
Jimmy Garcia. Boom. So happy with all three of those moves, Brig. I know Justin Turner is not prime Justin Turner anymore,
No.
but the
No.
clubhouse presence that he's having already, Brig. Mitch Haniger has adjusted his plate approach based on conversations that he's had with Justin Turner since he's been there.
Wow.
And Mitch
That's
Haniger has
awesome.
been already been better than what he has been this season, which isn't tough, but he's been way better.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to trickle throughout the clubhouse. He only has a 17% K rate to come into a clubhouse that has just been hamstrung by strikeouts all season long. And for this guy to come in and guys to be like, dude, what? And he's like, well,
Right.
share
Let
some
me tell you.
knowledge, right?
Yeah.
The Cal Raleigh strikeout rate has already dropped since he's gotten
Yeah.
there. I don't know if he's
Which
picking
is
his brain or what,
nuts.
but
I don't,
he
I
still
don't
leads the
understand
league.
that.
It still leads the AL in strikeouts, but not by nearly as much. So
Well, and Seattle's starting pitching rotation now leads the league with a 3.28 ERA.
yeah, well, they ought to after that Angels series where they only
Yeah.
gave up where starting pitchers gave up one earned run in 3 games, and they still
Whoa,
got
I
swept.
didn't know that. That's
Still got
awesome.
swept because the offense was asleep.
Yeah. But I mean,
Unreal.
you win a series against the Phillies, right? You take care of business
Yep.
with the Tigers. You and then you got the Mets coming up, right? Like,
Yeah,
when did the
Tigers
Mets
then
show
Mets
up?
coming up.
Yeah.
Over so Tigers are coming to town. They'll be in town today, Tuesday. I guess the day that
Yeah.
this comes out. Today it's Monday, technically. So Tigers for 3 games, and then got the Mets this weekend.
Yeah.
But I mean, so and then came off of a 4-2 road trip, 3 against the White Sox, facing their really good pitching. Had to face
Let's keep
Thorpe,
that clear.
Betty, and Crochet, like
Yeah. Yeah.
right, and it was those guys that they did the damage against. And then you go into Boston and just get run out of the stadium one day, deal it back the next day, and then lose a close one the day after that. So you
Yeah.
end up losing that series. But I was really happy coming home and winning a series against the Phillies. So
For sure. For sure.
that's not the only reason I have them in the heart, but things have definitely taken a step in the right direction. The vibes, Brig, the vibes are so good right now.
Yeah.
So the bats are awake.
Let me talk about San Diego for a minute because for
Go for it.
me, it comes down to Jerks and Profar. He is a big deal. He's carrying this team at times that they need him to carry them. And then uh, we thought that they were just not involved, right? Like it wasn't that long ago. And I know I keep saying this last 2 or 3 times, but it still just hasn't been that long since we were all just ho-humming around about the Padres. And now they've cemented their place for me in this
Yeah.
heart tier. And I think they're headed to the playoffs. I think because they're going to play Colorado soon. That's going to be a no-brainer. So I don't think, as far as the standings are concerned, it's going to be any kind of a problem. I think they're in a great spot. I would say the same thing about the Royals. You know, the Royals, you've been preaching the Royals for the whole season, man. You got Seth Lugo
Yep.
taking care of business, right? Cole Reagans, Brady Singer, they are doing everything they need to be doing.
They are. Yep. And that offense is good enough to make up for what the bullpen lacks. which is
Yes.
a major step in the right direction from where they were last year. They lost 100 games last year, Brig,
I
and
can't
they're going to
believe that.
probably be in the playoffs this year. Like, holy cow!
Yeah, that is crazy. They're 63-50 right now. I don't think they'll win 100 games this year, but
No,
they're
but I
63 and
mean,
50.
it still
But
is just bonkers to me that they lost 101 games last year, and they are where they are now.
to your point about the bats, they have a plus 95 run differential. That's what you're saying. It's taking care of business when the bullpen can't. They're holding it off. Now, I
Yep.
still don't think they're going to go deep in the playoffs, but they're going to the playoffs after losing 100 games last season. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and sometimes that you just need to get in and have that experience. I talked about that with the Mariners 2 years ago. That I
Yeah.
just I didn't think they had it in them to make a deep run, but I just want them to get in and get the experience. But then I'll be honest with you, once they did get in, I was like, maybe they do have what it takes to make a deep run.
Right.
Because
Yeah, you did.
Dusty
Yeah.
Baker told Dave Sims that the only team they were worried about in that playoff run was the Mariners
And it was
in
a problem
2022.
for
Yeah,
Houston. Yeah.
yeah, they were the only team that was a
It was
problem, even though they got swept.
it was a problem for us. We were sitting there. Let me talk about the D-backs really quick. They won
Go
21 of
for
their
it.
last 30 games, and they still have
Fire.
injuries.
Yeah.
Like their arms are still down. So, and they had to
I
pull.
say it every time. Eduardo Rodriguez has not thrown a pitch this season. Wait till he gets
Right.
back.
Well, and they pulled what's his face, Seawald out of the closer role because he just can't.
Yeah.
He can't pull it together. So now they're platooning in the closer spot, and they still pulled 21 out of 30. So I know the Phillies are coming to town, and I know that they've trolled the Phillies, and I know that we think it's going to be a bomb show, and it probably will. They'll probably get carpet bombed. But this is a good Diamondbacks team who's in a really hot spot right now, so I wonder what that'll do. I don't know.
Still one of the best offensive teams in baseball, too.
They are. They are. I agree with you about the
That's a really
Braves.
big deal.
The Braves are here because I want them to be here. It was between the Braves and the Red Sox, honestly, and I just had to keep the Braves up there, even though for me it's really close between the Braves and the Red Sox. I could even put together a new tier as you did unfairly, but I love it. I love you for it. For situations like this, tiebreaker tiers or something.
Tiebreaker tiers. Oh, okay. That might be something we consider next season.
No,
Tiebreaker tiers.
it's mine. You can't have any.
Okay.
You're too young.
Okay. Anyway. All right. Go ahead with your question mark tier.
All right, my question mark tier: Red Sox, Astros, Twins, Mets, Pirates. That's how my question mark
Okay.
looks.
I have Red Sox, Astros, Pirates, Mets, Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Go ahead with your explanations, Brig.
The
Defend
Cardinals?
yourself.
Okay.
For now.
Okay. The Red Sox are only 2.5 games out of the wild card spot. It's far from insurmountable, right? And it all comes down to Alex Cora. What he's been able to do is incredible. We've talked about it a million times. Got to give the love where it belongs. Don't count the Red Sox out yet. Might not be able to count them out to the last week of the season, honestly. So for that reason, I don't know what's going to happen. That's why they belong here. Which could justify the Royals being in this spot, but it doesn't because of the reasons I've already said. Okay? The Astros, I am so confused once again by the Astros. They've lost 5 of their last 7 games, and now they're on a skid, which everybody does, and it's fine. This is just a really crappy time to skid, and if this is the beginning of the skid, that's bad for Houston. It's really good for Seattle.
Indeed.
But I'm just not excited about the Kikuchi gamble, I think we'll come to call it, because it doesn't feel like it's working out.
I mean, he was good in his first outing.
Yeah.
But so this is the thing about Yusei Kikuchi is, at least a few years ago, he got really tired at the end of the season and was not good at all.
Correct.
So I think that's probably who the Astros are going to end up getting. And my big thing with the Astros is I didn't feel like they actually got better at the trade deadline
No, I don't think so.
because, like, you're going to send away Joey Loperfido for freaking Yusei Kikuchi?
And now Loperfido is performing in a he looks like a big fish in a really
He's
bad Blue Jays
great.
pond.
He's
I know.
great. He was
Yeah.
a game changer
Yeah, I
for the
know.
Astros. Like, they went up to Minnesota and they won games because of plays he made in the outfield.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting rid of the future face of your franchise potentially for
Unbelievable.
basically a rental. I'm pretty sure Kikuchi's a rental. I want to double check
It's
this though.
not good. It's not a good situation for
I don't know why I'm
Houston.
getting so upset about this move the Astros made. I should be rejoicing. Yeah,
You
he's a
should be,
rental.
yeah, you should be rejoicing.
Maybe I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's what it is.
I saw that trade and could not believe that it actually went down. Toronto was just like, yes,
Yep.
like
The
that
Mets,
was
the Mets for
bonkers.
me are a confusing situation again. They've given up 5 of 8. They're now a game and a half back in the wild card conversation. Um, I feel like the hot stretch is over, and
Mm-hmm.
that's good for a lot of other teams. It's really bad for the Mets. So again, we're looking at a team that might come down to the wire as to their playoff hopes. I don't know because let's see who's in front of them. We got the D-backs. They're catchable.
Padres.
Padres, I think, are catchable still. I don't know. And then the Braves, I think, are catchable too. So it's good. It as always. This wild card situation in the National League is going to be really tight, and the Mets are going to be in there. So for that reason, I got to give them a question mark. Um, the Pirates belong in my question mark tier for the same reasons I've kept them here every time. I think I said they would jump the Cardinals. They did. And now here we are, only 3.5 games back. I know they're like the 7th team on the list for the wild card or whatever, but they're still only 3.5 games out of the wild card spot.
I
For
have
that
4 games
reason,
out. You might want to you might need to refresh your standings there,
oh,
Brig.
I might need to. Yeah, I might need to.
I think
Let
some
me do it
games have
again.
ended since we started talking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. That's a good looking out, Brad.
I got you.
I appreciate you. The problem is the relief pitching in Pittsburgh is an issue, and you just can't get around it. So I
Only
think they've had
offense isn't
2
that
blown
great either.
saves. Yeah, yeah. So that's why Pirates are here. I'm not sure yet, but they still lapped the card. They still jumped the Cardinals, which I predicted, and so I'm like I can't count them out yet. You know.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that. The Pirates are like a legit. So this is the thing: is that I felt like Houston, Boston, the Mets, and the Pirates were all legitimate question marks. That, like,
Yeah.
I don't know who this team is day to day. You're going to get
Yeah.
somebody else that's going to show up every single day. Um, and like I said, with Houston, a big part of it was I didn't feel like they got better at the deadline. I thought they got worse when they were trying to make a move to get better.
Right. Yeah, I think
So
so too.
that's going to be a problem for them because they could potentially end up moving down to the thumbs down tier
Yeah.
come September. Boston, they have these bursts where they are world beaters, and then they go on another burst where they can't beat anybody.
Yeah.
So it's just weird, and I think that the Mets, the ride is about over. The Grimace ride is about over with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the juice is going to expire, and they're not going to. I don't think they're going to make it. Pittsburgh, if the offense was better, I would give them a little bit more credit. But they watching I've watched a few Pirates games this year, and watching the Pirates is like a little bit like watching the Mariners minus the really good back end of the bullpen.
Right.
Like, for some reason, I just like watch teams that can't score runs. I don't know why. So they're like, yeah, this pitching is really good. Oh wait, no, this offense
Yeah.
stinks. But
Oh man.
and then the Cardinals. So the Cardinals, I didn't think they were bad enough to put in the thumbs down tier because they're still right there. Like, they're only behind the Pirates by 0.001% of
Yeah.
in the standings, right? It just happens to be that the Cardinals have played 2 more games than the Pirates. So that's the difference there. but I do think they are trending downward, and I think that part of that is that they could also be another team that is by the time we get to September could be in the thumbs down tier rather than the
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah, I think so too. So let's
Okay,
talk about
give
the
us your
Cardinals because they're in my thumbs
okay.
down, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, I think for me, we're looking at Tommy Pham and he's kind of anchoring this downward spiral for them. He's not the only reason. There's a lot of reasons. But I think Tommy Pham will continue to be the signal line, if you will. We're
The
going to watch
acquisition of
him.
Tommy Pham.
Yeah, and then his performance will be the yardstick, right? If we're looking at it as a line graph, that first ball that moves around the line graph is going to be Tommy Pham. And I
Hmm.
think he's what, 8 for 20 or something, 8 for 21.
I
So
don't know. I'll
I
check
don't
right
know.
now though.
I'm not. It's something like that, and I don't know. I don't think the Cardinals are better than the
He
Pirates.
is nice off the top of your head, Brig. 8 for
Yeah,
21.
yeah. I thought it was something like that, but yeah. So anyway, I think they'll go as he goes, and he's going down, and I think they're going to go down with him.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because a lot of players like Tommy Pham. I mean, Jock Peterson aside, obviously, but I
Right.
think like there are a lot of guys in the league
Chuck.
who want Tommy Pham on their team because he's a competitor,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
he puts in the work, right? Like that's why they want him on their team. But unfortunately, he's 36 years old.
yeah.
That's not the
I'm
kind of
not saying it's
acquisition you
over
make to
for
turn your
him, but
team around.
no, it's not. Who's the guy in Los Angeles? The Angels. What's that guy's name? Who's playing like he's already announced his retirement? Why can't I think of his name?
5 minutes later.
And
Says
yeah,
Pilar says he's likely to retire after the season,
yeah.
but Kiermaier
He
for
says,
the Dodgers said 100%.
oh, he is for sure. Okay, but did you see Kevin Pillar's diving catch the other day? Like
Yes, that
2 days
was
ago
prime
or
Pilar.
something? Yeah,
Yeah,
here we go. Look at this. That's the guy I want out of Tommy Pham. I want that. I want an old guy Tommy Pham, like old guy Kevin Pillar is giving the Angels. And it's not. That's not what we're getting right now. And so if Tommy Pham can pull it together and be the Tommy Pham everybody loves and wants, except for Jock Peterson, I loved that comment. It'll turn things around a little bit in St. Louis. I hate to say it because I really enjoy St. Louis Ball Club, but that's where I put them.
okay. Who else do you
Let's
have your
see
thumbs
who
down?
else. This is where the Giants go. The Rays go here. The Cubs go here. Rangers, Reds, Nats, Tigers. They all fit in this category for me. Because meh, right? Either they
Mhm.
didn't pick up enough guys at the deadline, or the deadline stuff didn't work, or they held firm and that's not working. I think the Cubs have taken a complete nosedive. That's no surprise, but now it's a
Yeah,
cemented situation. They're sleeping with the fishes by the end of the season. Um, the
pair of
Tigers,
cement shoes.
Tigers, the Tigers are a joke right now, and I hate it. But they're not bad enough to be in my poop tier. But boy, they would be 24 out of the
Where
on the.
where are the good Tigers we've been looking for the last 2 to 3 years? Like
I
where is that
I
team?
don't know. I feel like they have put all of like Tyrek Skubal has pulled all the mojo into himself.
Apparently.
That's it.
Well, him and
That's
Jack
it, man.
Flaherty before he got
Flaherty, yeah,
traded.
that's the other guy.
Yeah. Okay, so my thumbs down. I've got the Giants, the Cubs, the Reds, Nats, Marlins, Rays, Rangers, Tigers, Blue Jays, Angels. So let me start with the Angels real quick. Angels
Okay.
probably honestly deserve to be in the poop tier, but the fact that they are only quote unquote only 14 games under 500, I thought I'd give them the benefit of the doubt and put them in the thumbs down because the teams that are in my poop tier are far worse than that. Well, I shouldn't say far worse because the A's are there. But anyway, so The Giants just I don't get why they can't figure it out. Like it might be like I said in my takeaways that you can't sign a bunch of over the hill guys and expect to win a bunch of games because it doesn't just and that's the problem the Cardinals have, right? Like a bunch of guys
Yeah.
past their prime, you're trying to win games, but it's not happening.
Or they're young.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no in between. Nobody's in their
You're
prime. They have nobody on that team in their prime.
no, newlywed or nearly dead. That's what we would call that.
Yeah, exactly right. Yes, exactly right. I mean, like Matt Chapman is quietly putting up this outstanding season on this team that
Yeah.
continues to lose. But anyway,
Okay, but he's got a ton of errors. He leads third baseman in errors.
but he's got a 5. He's got a BWAR of 5.
I know, but he still leads
Like
the third baseman in errors. Come on.
he's making up for it offensively.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's up to 5.1 with his WAR this season.
All right. Well, good for
That's
him.
crazy. I did not
crazy.
see that
That doesn't
coming,
make
by
sense.
the way. Like surprises of the season,
Nope.
Matt Chapman, 5+ WAR. Okay, the Reds continue to disappoint me. They just can't get out of their own way. It's just Ellie De La Cruz continues to strike out. They signed Ty France. Good for him that he's on a big league club, but they got
Yeah.
no hit the other day. And our friend Jay texted me. He's like, oh, it looks like the Ty France effect is in full swing in
It has settled
Cincinnati.
in.
It's like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
I don't like that, but that's really funny.
Yeah.
The Nats, they're just not there yet. They'll get there. They're
Nope.
just not there yet. They
Yeah.
have a ton of talent, but those guys are so young. The
Couple
Marlins quit
years.
competing. I should have put the Marlins in my poop tier because they quit competing in May. The Rays got rid of everybody. They're not competing anymore. Probably belong in the poop tier as well. The Rangers just can't do it. Right?
No, they can't.
Too many injuries to go along with just not enough guys performing. Like it's just been a perfect storm of bad there. They're only like
Yeah.
4.5 games back in the West. But at the same time, though, like overcoming that and catching the Mariners, who very well could at any point meltdown, right? Like I'm not
Sure.
naive to
Yeah.
the fact that offense could just crap to bed again and just
Totally.
stop playing well and then be catchable. But I don't think it's going to
Yes.
happen enough. Sorry, the Rangers are 5.5 back. I don't think it's going to happen enough for the Rangers to catch them at this point.
I don't think so.
With inside 2 months of the season to go.
Nope.
And then Detroit, we talked about them. Toronto, just not good. Not a good team.
No. Bad. Which is why they belong in the poop tier, Brad. And they're at the top of my poop tier. They're the tippy top of the heap, which is probably the best place to be if you're going to be on the poop pile. Is at the tippy top, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So my poop tier is Blue Jays, Angels, A's, Marlins, Rockies, White Sox, and the stinking, fetid, moist underbelly of that is the White Sox.
The White Sox. That was very graphic. Incredibly graphic. So I only have two. I only kept 2 teams in my poop tier. I have Oakland and Colorado in my poop tier right now. Okay. I came up with a special tier just for the White Sox. It is my toilet tier. I want to put them in there and flush them down so I never have to look at them again. I would rather be on the poop pile. We'd rather looking at the poop pile than looking at what is in the toilet needs to be flushed down and flushed away.
Yikes.
That's where the White Sox
that's the realest, as they
because this is the thing, Brig. Like AJ Przinsky talks about this on Foul Territory. He's like, they're like, are they going to break the record? He's like, do it, just do it. At this point, you might as well just do it. If you're going to be bad, be really bad. Be the best at being bad. And I totally agree.
I do too.
Just stop trying. And this is the thing that blows my mind. I can't believe Pedro Grifol still has a job.
And he's going to get paid $1 million next year, no matter what.
I would pay him $1 million.
Did you know that?
No way. If I was a White Sox fan, I would. I know.
Yep. He's one of the I think he's one of the top 5 highest paid managers in Major League Baseball right now.
Okay, you want to know something funny, Brig? I was looking at this earlier today because I was fascinated by this. So, 2021 at Tony La Russa, they finished 93-69. They won the division. They won the AL Central.
Okay.
2022 underachieved. Tony La Russa left. I can't remember if he was fired partway through the season. He had a 63-65 record, but they finished 81-81, 500 team. Okay.
Yep.
And
yep,
I
yep.
get it. There was some dysfunction there with Tony La Russa, right?
Oh yeah.
There were some
Oh
bad things
yeah.
going on. And so things kind of fell apart there, and that's why they finished 500. Well, last year, Pedro Grifal's first year, you know what their record was last year?
What?
61-101 with a team that was supposed to be good. They lost
Well,
101 games.
Didn't they win the division a couple years ago?
They won the division in 2021. Yeah, when they
Yeah,
won
there you go.
93 games.
Yeah.
So then 2 years later, with not that different of a team, you finish 61-101, and you're like, okay, you fire Rick Hahn. Let's see what that does. Well, then you come into the 2024 season with some names, right? Like I remember I popped over to their spring training at the beginning of the season, or during spring training, obviously to their backfields, and I saw guys walking by. I was like, wait a minute, like there's some pretty good players on this team. Like I even pulled the 40-man roster. I was like not great, but
you
not
know them. You've heard of them.
30 wins in a season bad.
No.
Right?
Nope.
I don't understand it. There has got to be.
No.
Chris Getz should either be fired and probably never work in baseball again, because clearly he doesn't know how to put together a team.
Ooh.
I'm sorry,
hanging on the front office? Are you not going to hang it on the manager?
Who puts the players out on the field?
Yeah, it's front office.
Who's the guy who's like, yes, this combination of players? Like that's why I put a lot of it on the front office, because they're the ones who say, you know what, this combination of players should work. This combination of players didn't work so badly that they're going to set a record for losing the most games in a season. But with that, Pedro Grifal absolutely needs to go.
Oh yeah.
100%, because I also don't think it's a coincidence that he came in here and suddenly took a 500 team to a 100 loss team 2 years in a row.
Nope, it's not a coincidence.
Did you hear what he said to the team coming out of the All-Star break?
No.
The gist of it was, you guys are going to set at this pace, you guys are going to set a record for losing the most games in history, and people are going to remember you by that. They're going to remember everybody in this room by that. It's like, no, I don't think so. Like, it might be a little confusing that Luis Robert was on that team, but mostly it's just going to be like, it was the White Sox. Who was the manager? Pedro Grifal.
Yeah, it's going to be him.
Especially,
it won't even be.
I cannot beat this dead horse enough, especially since they went from a 500 team to a 101 loss team last year. Like that. Yeah, that blew my mind. With a change in manager,
it won't be the front office. They're not going to remember him. No. The general manager, I mean. Nobody's going to remember him.
Nobody cares.
No. Even though it's a big deal. it's not going to matter.
I will say, White Sox fans 10 years from now, when they talk about this year, they'll talk about Pedro Grifal and Chris Getz. But those are the only people.
They will.
Like, as a Mariners fan, I talk about Jack Zarenzik all the time. Just like, oh, that Jack Zarenzik. Right? But nobody else does. Nobody else knows who that guy is. So
yeah, I don't know who that is.
Anyway, so they're in my toilet tier.
I like your toilet tier, Brad. It's an impressive tier.
I appreciate that.
For an impressively bad team.
Indeed they are. Indeed they are. But baseball family, let us know what you think about our emoji tiers, aka our power rankings. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Should we do some rearranging? Let us know down in the comments, or you can send an email to baseballtogetherpod@gmail.com. We will see that and we will respond, or just read it on the air and respond that way. We'll see how it goes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review everywhere you can. Like Brig said, follow us on social media. We have all those up there at the top of the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, there's always links in the description to those as well, so you can get there quickly and easily to follow along for more content. The baseball family, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you on Thursday night.